think that's why it works for me, is it's like, yeah, it is kind of the same thing each time, but it's like, how far are we willing to go for Carl?
And it is moments like that in everything that I'm such a sucker for, is when everything around our main characters is falling apart and our main characters are just like dreading everything, and then they have that one moment where it's just like calm and peace.
People like Matt Dinniman and Brandon Sanderson are truly like one of God's many gifts to this world.
Welcome back. We're here. We're talking about The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. What do we think, boys? Do we like this one?
Yeah, I like it.
Is it a step back?
I don't think it's as good as 5, but I think it's a really good book.
Dave, we missed your thoughts on The Butcher's Masquerade. What did you think of that one?
It was good.
10 out of 10?
Yeah. I was looking forward to the next, like, continued story level, and that was it. I was a little disappointed because it felt like there was more world lore in book 2 than there was in this one. And I don't know why I was more interested in that. But as soon as I snapped out of it, especially the entire Butcher's Masquerade, that part was freaking insane.
Yeah.
I think bringing it back to the book we're on now, The Bedlam Bride, I think one thing I really liked was this. It pulled a Dungeon Anarchist cookbook and it tried to introduce like a new system in the form of the cards. And I think it actually worked this time around. Like, I think it was a pretty simple idea as opposed to the Iron Tangle. And it worked out. It like we've played Magic the Gathering between the three of us, and so it was easier.
You two much more.
It was easier to grasp onto, and I really liked the idea of like kind of Pokemon almost, where you got to go out and collect them all, and then they turn into cards. And
I will say, as far as like Dungeon Crawler Carl goes, the aspects of the dungeons are always the weakest part for me. Mm-hmm. It's the characters and the situations that they get into that is what drives Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yeah. For me anyway. Like, this was the first book where I was like, oh, this is kind of neat the way this dungeon works. Like, you're going back. The premise, I think you get the gist of it. Spoilers for books 1 through 5 if you haven't caught up on those books. I think spoiler-free thoughts on The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. I was prepared for this one because of, I can never remember that guy's name. Masquerade. I asked him the question. I was like, hey, is this book as good as The Butcher's Masquerade 6 and 7? Does it keep this same energy? And he said, honestly, no, but they're still good. And I think that helped set the stage for me for this book because, yeah, it's not as good as The Butcher's Masquerade, but that book's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This, I will confidently say, this is probably my second favorite Dungeon Crawler Carl book.
I agree.
Like, there are things that happen in this book that were, like, pretty emotional and heavy moments that really work for me.
And it was, like, with characters that had been there, but I didn't think about beforehand. And it was like, okay, wait, why am I getting emotional with this character that we've spent maybe 20 pages with? What the heck? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Matt Dinniman. He doesn't save those moments just for the characters that we spend a ton of time with. He's like, no, these are all people. I'm going to make you care about them, even if we've spent very little time with them. And I love that about these books.
Yeah. And I think character-wise, I think, again, Carl and Donut are great. I feel like we're saying the same thing about those two every single book, but it's because they just continue to get better.
I mean, it's their book.
I mean, I think what's interesting in this book, without getting spoiler heavy, is there are characters that have been in it that Jace mentioned that are like taking more of a front and center role, which is, again, we'll get into it spoiler heavy in a second. But just overall, I'm giving this book like a strong 8, maybe a light 9.
Yeah.
Like, it is my second favorite Dungeon Crawler Carl book.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. There were parts where I wasn't as like, okay, whoa, I'm on the edge of my seat like I was in Butcher's Masquerade. Because that one, like the last 5 hours of that book, I was like, okay, I can't stop now. Like, I have to finish this tonight.
I keep waiting for the bloat because, again, this book is massive. Like, this is a big, fat book.
Yeah.
But again, I'm waiting for the moment where I'm like, okay, that's what I would cut. And it never happens. There's never a moment where the page count or the word count is unnecessary. It's always like, I'm always on board with everything that's happening.
And you know me, I love me some Brandon Sanderson, and I love the Cosmere.
You love
But
girth. A girth man.
We're not doing that. But there are parts from those last 2 books of the Cosmere, of Stormlight
Yeah,
Archives
100%.
that should have been trimmed out.
This doesn't have that
This
problem.
does not have that problem.
Dave, spoiler-free thoughts before we jump into spoilers and have a long conversation about this book?
I'd go like 9, maybe even a 10 with this one, depending.
Wow.
I really liked it. Similar to what you were saying, where it's like usually you never really cared about the floor. Like I view the floor that they're on as a character. Like that's where our people are at, and so it's important to me. And this is the first one that I was just like, I really like this, and I was invested in it. And then similar to what you guys are saying, like the characters, just really, especially what they did with Carl in this one. Oh, chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
There's even like small things that they did with Mordecai that I'm like, I loved that. There, and it didn't matter to the plot, but it's like, I love that there are things going on behind the scenes that would cause problems that they're like, no, I'm glad that he did that. I just wish he told us, you know? And I love that about these books.
Yeah.
That it feels like a world that's lived in.
Yeah. People are real. These are real characters that are making real choices.
Yeah. Even some of the NPCs
Yeah, I
feel
was
like
going to say, like, even some of the
characters.
NPCs are pretty awesome. Signet in the last book.
And Samantha in this book. Samantha
Yeah.
is hilarious in this book.
Yeah.
Well, let's quit dancing around it. Let's get into the spoilers, baby.
Full spoiler talk, baby. All right, guys. This is not going to be a play-by-play. We're not going to talk about every single thing that happened in this book. That is for Digital Boy. He will do that for us. He will bring up every single play.
Can I start us off with my favorite part of the entire book?
Go ahead, Jay.
The part where Katya is like going through a whole drug episode. What a real freaking moment. At the point where they need her to pull her head out of her butt, she is like doing the most human thing possible to cope. And I'm like, wow, I am invested in this right now. I cannot believe, like, I was on the edge of my seat and I was like, I don't care about anything else right now. I have to get through this portion of the book because everything that's going on with Katya, I need to know what happens here. What a good freak. That was on par with Butcher's Masquerade. By that part, I was like, this elevates this book.
Yeah, I agree. To me, Dave, let's get your favorite moment out of the way.
Oh,
Because I know what it is, so let's talk about it.
Definitely when
Chapter 45.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think I texted you guys about it. I was like, yeah, brace yourselves, because that chapter just, holy hell. We get the guest voice actor,
Patrick Warburton.
Kronk
himself.
And we've known he's a scumbag, and like throughout the previous books, they've kind of hinted at what's been going on in his childhood between his dad. This is the first time that it was like front and center. Here's everything that happened. There was a whole thing with some show talking about Milk, who was a previous contestant, and like trying to like implant stuff. But then it goes to this like part that was just forced, like the game guys were like totally, the Borant Corporation, they were forcing it. We get the Carl's dad, and then we see that he had another son and another wife, and it's like, I felt like the hatred I felt in that moment was similar to how I feel about Golds in Red Rising, similar to how I feel about fetching Light Eyes in the Stormlight Archives. Like the hatred I felt towards Carl's dad for starting another family and bringing another boy into this world just to treat him like crap. And the way Carl dealt with it, just middle finger to him the entire time,
Yep.
like, fetch you, screw you, you're a scumbag. And like he had some remorse that he had a brother that he never met, and he hoped that his death was quick.
And what a good way to make me hate B so much more.
Oh, yeah.
What a good way to make me go, wow, that elevates her to like villain status. I hate her now.
Like keeping that from him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they haven't tried to humanize B.
Yeah.
Yet we don't know what happens in the next book. I hope they don't try
I don't
to
think they
humanize
will.
her. I hope she doesn't come back. I know
hope she
she's
doesn't
still
either.
alive. She'll probably make a cameo, but screw her. Screw Carl's dad. That boss fight afterwards with all the heads on the Hydra. being different people from their lives was freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
Boy, yeah, the AI is going bonkers.
Yeah.
These books are not PG.
No.
This is we try to keep it PG here on the channel, and we're talking about a very R-rated book.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just I think every video going forward where we talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl, we got to mention, hey, this is not PG, this is not for everybody.
This is not family friendly.
But the fact that the AI manifests itself and is like going
This
nuts
part was
over
so
Carl's
funny.
feet is like, it was so funny. And also it's the point where you're like, okay, we're getting to a point now with the AI where I have no idea.
Gloves are off.
Gloves are off. Like the
It
Borant
can manifest
Corporation-
itself
Yeah,
now.
Borant has, I don't know what power it has anymore.
I think the AI has made it very clear it doesn't have power.
Yeah, it is the AI's game at
It
this
is,
point.
and they even acknowledge it. They're like, the only thing that's keeping it in line is reason, and as long as it's reasonable, like we can keep going. But this thing is in control. Like it's to the point where the princess of the Skull Empire is like, we gotta blow up this entire system, and like the guys there are trying to preserve themselves, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're like, you just want the throne, and she's like, you idiots, I'm gonna die too. Like, but that's how bad this is. If this thing gets out, the entire universe is screwed.
yeah.
Which just makes me think, like, how powerful is this AI?
Yeah, and it's interesting also that like that same person is the one that is kind of creating the game, right? Like she's the one that was pissed off that Prepotente had like destroyed the floor.
No, that's Cassandra, more of a character.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, okay, Princess Formidable's like a baller. She's like, we need to blow this up, and it's gonna kill me too, and I'm okay with that. That's how she's like the one high up character that I'm like, okay, you have my respect.
and then they mute her.
Yeah, and then they mute her. What a bunch of cowards.
Which okay, we get Agatha lore finally.
Yes, finally.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
man.
get
What
the
is going on with that?
What is this, 6 books in and we finally get to learn about Agatha?
Yeah, but
She's like, go ahead, because I'm confused on it.
so apparently there were people there about like 6 years before the
And they're like an organization.
yeah, but they're not the ones that were doing that when Carl comes down or when he drives through and there's that one guy talking directly to him and everybody else like there's oh that's homeless Joe. That's not what she's a part of. We still don't really know what her role is. All we know is that her and one other crawler were here like 6 years prior to the planet being collapsed and the dungeon happening, and that she is like
Isn't she affiliated with the
some
Dreamers?
being. I don't know. Have we met a lot of them yet?
No.
So I think that's the thing is like we still don't really know, but we just know now that she is more than what she was leading.
And I think it's implied that she's the one that's like teaching the AI how to like connect to the ancestors of the AI.
The primals.
The primals.
Yeah.
She's the one that's making the AI go primal, right?
That's what I'm being led to believe.
So,
I mean, all this book does is get me jacked out of my mind for Faction Wars.
But- Yeah.
That is what I'm so stoked for, is Faction Wars.
Agatha made it very clear that her goal is to destroy all biological life. That's her end goal, which is like, oh, wait, so Agatha's the main villain now, right?
In a way, yeah.
Because
She is a villain.
I also
Yes.
love that we have these ex-crawlers that were owners of the cookbook, like
Yeah.
going in, and they're like gonna join the faction wars group.
last sentence of this book had me just like, I texted these guys immediately. I'm like, man, the ending of this book is so
Chills.
freaking awesome.
Chills.
It's like, he clasped his hand in hers. Both of them trembled. They were coming home. It's like, oh yeah,
awesome.
this is gonna be good.
And these are like people that think like Carl.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is like hearing people talk about Carl that aren't Carl.
Yeah.
It's like his ability to assess a situation is his superpower. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just so cool. Like getting people like outside saying, hype it up, my boy.
Yep.
But there is another part of this book that I love. And it's when he's talking to Ren. And she's like, you can't die. You
Yeah.
are humanity. You are us. You are Earth. Without you, we fall apart.
Yeah.
Oh, and the part where they're
Yeah.
talking about the characters, like Carl, Mordecai has to turn off the player counters because it is fetching up Carl, and he's like, I can't keep looking at it. And at the end, it's He's like, it's at 38,000. It's going to be so much lower because the whole point of this floor was to cull us. And he turns it on and it's like 33,000. I'm like, let's freaking go!
Carl was expecting it to be lower than what it was.
It's because of Carl.
Mm-hmm. And I love that everybody refuses to let Carl get a skull over his head.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, no, Carl, you're not going to kill anybody.
Yeah.
Like, this is not what you're going to do. And it's like everybody is on board with Carl. And at this point, is there anybody Lucia Marr, maybe? Like,
but even like her, we've established there is something wrong with her head.
Yeah. And it sounds like she's getting better. Like, from the sounds of this book, it sounds like she's trying to come out of whatever she was in.
Yeah.
Well, because what it sounded like in the Butcher's Masquerade is that there's multiple children in this embodiment of a person.
Yeah. Which shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
And there's like one of them that's reasonable that talks with Florin. And she actually gave specifically for Carl those upgrades for their guild. Like several ones that she shouldn't have had, and they were like level 3 ones. And she was like, I'll give these to Carl. So yeah, there's something going on there. I'm interested in that. We've got so many like different like moving parts and characters.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're starting to get like actual lines drawn. Like there is a group that Carl belongs to, both in the dungeon and outside of the dungeon, who agree that this whole thing
The games need to end.
They need to end, exactly. And then we have the bad guys, the corporations, the ones that want to keep this going, that know that Carl is up to no good, but they're so money hungry that they're letting it happen.
Yep.
And then you have the AI, who several times it feels like he's on Carl's side, and then it feels like he's going against Carl.
And it keeps you guessing.
I've been going through this whole like side quest, just trying to understand AI rampancy just from like other video game lore and stuff. And just what's going on with the AI is just so interesting to see unfold. And it's like, it can't be described any better than just a wild card. But we don't know what the AI is going to do next.
But what's so cool to me is that it is in control. And they make it very clear in the epilogue. It's not letting anybody leave.
Yep.
It is not letting anybody leave. It is the AI that is driving the ship.
Carl understands that, like, you have to treat the AI the same way that you would want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end, when Carl requests what he requests, it's like he words it in, like, a very, like, this is what we're requesting, this is the reasons why, and this is how we think it should be done. Boom, approved.
Yeah,
it's like he just approves it, and he's like, because I'm talking to it like a person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think Carl understands how the AI works.
I'm backtracking. This is a 10. This is a 10 out of 10. I love this
I don't
book.
know if he's going to necessarily like team up with the AI, because again, what is it wanting to do versus what Carl's wanting to do? It seems like it's two very different things.
It feels like it's trying to both get even, because it talks about how previous AI, they just get hurled into a sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, screw you guys for that.
Yeah,
like, I
you
don't want to
have
get
rules for yourselves, but you don't have rules for...
Yeah.
So it's like, it feels like he's like, screw the corporations, but at the same time, like, I have complete control over the game, and screw the crawlers, I'm going to make this fun and hard for you. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's a wild card. Like, it feels like one moment it's going to do something to benefit Carl, and then the next moment it's going to create an impossible task that we don't know how they're going to get out of it.
And that's what's kind of cool, though, is that these guys clearly know that the AI is dangerous. And they know that, like, the only way to take it down is by destroying a star. And I'm like, that's scary. Like,
Yeah.
where are we going with this?
Yeah. Also, like, can we just talk about, like, this is the only thing that would be holding it back from being a 10 out of 10 for me. And I don't know if I can fault it, because it gets me jacked every time, but it feels like every single ending of this book is, okay, Carl is going to be separated from everybody, and now all the crawlers are going to team up to make sure Carl doesn't sacrifice himself. And it's happened like 4 or 5 times now, where I'm just like,
I
hey,
get so hyped.
I know it's gonna happen, but that's the only thing. It's like, is it becoming redundant at this point? But if it works, do you fix it? Do you do something different? It works.
think so.
Is that like just me being negative Nancy and just like saying, hey, you're doing the same thing over and over again? Because I personally am I get jacked every time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Is the next book going to do that? We'll find out next week.
The thing I love about it, though, is that it's him. He is making sure that all of these guys are safe. He's putting himself in harm's way, and they're like, we have to keep him safe. I think that's why it works for me, is it's like, yeah, it is kind of the same thing each time, but it's like, how far are we willing to go for Carl?
Yeah, and like the only person really, like I was saying, and then we got caught up, the only person that didn't really line up with Carl at this point is Quan CH, and he's dead now.
And it's almost like he knew that he was a villain. Like, he was like, she would be so disappointed in me, and then he dies.
Yeah.
It's like,
No remorse for that guy. I'm glad we don't even try to humanize that son of a gun.
yeah.
Well, Carl still had sympathy. Gave
Because
him his
he's
ring
Carl.
back.
Because he's like, that's his thing.
Yeah.
He is just a good freaking dude.
Yeah.
Another thing, it's the small moments for me. Chapter 45 was awesome, and I'm going to give Chapter 45 its props because it was really good. But it's the small moments with like Louis when Carl is in his head and he's being a pouty baby the whole time, and he's like, why are we? I come back here and everybody's like pretending like nothing that just happened outside is a big deal, and Louis pulls him aside and he's like, hey dude, one night, it's Christmas Eve, like we're gonna have a good time and you need to let us enjoy this because we need something. And he's like, Carl's like, yeah, you're right, but he's like, it's not Christmas Eve without this, and he gives him a turkey, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I love, is those small little moments where I'm like, Chapter 45 was very emotional, very heavy, but it's things like that I'm like, this is why I love Dungeon Crawler Carl, is because of moments with Louis telling Carl, hey, give us one night. And it is moments like that in everything that I'm such a sucker for, is when everything around our main characters is falling apart, and our main characters are just like dreading everything, and then they have that one moment where it's just like calm and peace, and it's just like they get
that's why I'm a sucker for wit moments.
Yeah.
It's a great book. I feel like there's so much that happens that I feel like we're definitely missing something.
I will say the stuff that didn't work for me, and this is like really the only thing that didn't work for me, was the nun lady, the crazy nun lady. I'm like, I get why she was put in, but I was like, wow, that did not work for me. How did she make it this far?
Really, I thought she was a pretty interesting villain.
Because it turned out that she wasn't as like squeaky clean as she was making herself out to be, and she didn't have any skulls because she was using the others to do her dirty work.
I just didn't find her interesting.
Yeah.
And the whole Bedlam Bride thing, like now Carl,
I
there's
thought that was
something there. Carl's got that tattoo that she makes.
And when she's in his head, he hears another voice, and it's the guy, her husband, that she kills.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, just chill out. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
to Carl, right?
Yeah. It sounded like to me he was talking to Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not coming up until after the faction wars. That has to do with the ascendancy.
Yeah,
stuff.
like that quest isn't over yet, right? Like
She's
she still
coming
has to
back.
get to that point.
No, this is Matt Dinniman just laying, breadcrumbs for future books that aren't even announced.
How
yet.
he's able to keep up with all of these plot lines and threads in a way that doesn't make me feel like I'm confused. Like, when it happens, I'm like, oh, dude, we're getting payoff.
I found this out this past week, actually. Matt Dinniman has a Patreon that the community can vote what boss fights happen in future books.
that's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I heard about that. It's almost like a choose your own adventure that the community is a part of. So, like, he'll throw out on there, like, what should I do in this situation? Should I go left or right?
And that kind of adds another element of, like, that's how the story works, because the audience is giving input. Like, that's kind of cool, because, like, at the end, it's the audience that's voting on the rules for the faction wars. That's kind of neat, actually, Matt Dinniman.
We've got a lot to look forward to here.
Also, like the entirety of book 8 is apparently on that Patreon. I just can't imagine not hearing Jeff Hayes read the book to me because the audiobook is just so good.
Yeah. No, Jeff Hayes is Carl.
He knocks it out of the park.
Well, this was a great book. I don't really have anything else to add.
We're just three dudes who really enjoyed the book, and there's just a lot that we were hyped about.
There hasn't been one that's missed for me. No. Like, the closest to a miss is the what is it? The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook. But even that, like...
It still had its moments.
It's still got its moments, and there's stuff... I mean, the cookbook is still being a tool. Mm-hmm. It's still being used. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about this series in general, is, like, Matt Dinniman... He does set up and pay off so well, and he gives you little things, and it never feels forced in any stretch of the imagination. It always feels like the natural evolution, but it's not something that I would have came up with.
Nope.
It never feels cheap.
No.
I'm excited to see Katya and Donut and how they solve that, because I don't want either of them to die. But
I feel like we're not getting Katya past book 9 or book 8.
We'll
I don't
see.
think it's happening.
We'll see.
I'm going to go out on a limb and just say that people like Matt Dinniman and Brandon Sanderson are truly like one of God's many gifts to this world. Like honestly, like somebody who can create something so stupid and silly. I've tried describing this book to my wife and like what happens.
I think this is a book for the boys.
Oh yeah.
I don't think this is for the girlies, and that's okay.
This isn't a girl
and
thing.
if a girly do like it, hey, I'm proud of you. I would join the club, but I don't think this appeals to women.
I love Matt Dinniman. I've been loving this series so far. What was it? It was last month. I was like, hey, like, let's just finish the entire series before the next book. And we're halfway through February.
We have somehow managed to do one weekly.
Yeah.
Since we started.
I'm going to finish book 8 by the end of this week.
Book
7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have been watching this and following along, we appreciate you. If this is the first video you've seen, what do you think of Dungeon Crawler Carl so far? Let us know in the comments. We're happy to have you here, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.